Hello everyone, welcome to Bible Stories in Lego, episode 4, Moses and the Parting of the Red or Reed Sea. We'll begin with the situation at the time, and I'm going to make a pyramid. The Hebrews didn't make the pyramids, but they might have built some buildings close to them. And I'm building on a square base using 4x2 blocks. Ooh, that one spun off. A simple pyramid. Just to remind us of what Egypt was famous for at the time and continues to be famous for today. So there is a pyramid with a square block to finish. That's our first building today. Now, for Moses, the great leader of the Hebrews, I'm going to do a staff, which I think was a shepherd's crook. And using different colours, because that's what I've got available, I'm going to build this tall crook with the bent end, because the shepherd's crook was actually used to drag a sheep out of a ditch by the hind leg. How about that? And it looks a little bit like that, so that stands for Moses. What about the people of God? Well, they were shepherds. They would have had shepherd's crooks of their own. And I make sheep. I've got a body of a rectangular brick and the square bricks for the front legs, the back legs, and the head. And those sheep are going to represent the people of God who are with Moses. But they've got to get away from being slaves. So they're all this side. And oh no, there's a great sea in the way. And this sea is a huge obstacle. They've escaped. Moses has lifted his staff and turned the River Nile, the great River Nile, into blood. And that's the first of the 10 plagues. Well, after that, we find that Pharaoh eventually lets the people go. Okay, go if you have to, he says. And they do. And they run away to freedom. But Pharaoh changes his mind. And so we find that he's sent his army to go and get the people back. Big problem. What shall they do? They come to the Red Sea. Moses again has his staff, and he lifts his staff, and the Red or Reed Sea changes from being a big barrier to being an open road. And so they walk across it. They walk across it on the riverbed. How about that? To safety. And as they look back, they find there they are walking across, and that sheep and these sheep. Here are the Egyptians changing their mind, saying, no, we want to keep you as our slaves, and the water falls back over because Moses raises his staff. Hooray, freedom. But what do we do now on the way to the promised land? Well, we find that God has something to say. In fact, he gives them 10 words or commands. So I'm going to put 5 in each tablet of stone. You might say written in black and white. How about that? And that'll be ways to love God and ways to love your neighbour, because this is what being civilized and godly is all about. So, don't have other gods, don't make images of gods, don't blaspheme God. Honour your parents and remember to take your day off. Do not commit murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not lie, and do not be greedy. Oh, that's what it's like to have the good life. Farewell to Egypt, through the parting of the sea, led by Moses, the people of God are the flock with him. And they come to understand what God requires. And in the New Testament, Jesus is greater than Moses, tells us again to love God and your neighbour, and in his death, he saves us not just from slavery in this life, but from sin. And that's very good news. Thank you for joining me this time.